Thank you for having me and the entire team at Palscity. Congratulations for the great work, the energy, the enthusiasm of trying to set up a product. I believe you guys know me from behind the scenes. I am doing what? I'm just cheering you people up. And I probably just hope that as time gets by, we will have avenues to keep on collaborating and just growing ourselves within the space. All right. So on my side, Randiek Communications, really, how can I say this? You know, it's turning out that it's a story really that I can't really describe to the fullest because I never really had I never really had that particular vision that someday, sometime, I will be trying to set up a product, trying to build it up from scratch, and it will turn out to be my 24/7 way of doing things. But here, come as it may, it's now 4 years of me probably waking up, rather having conversations on phone by saying, hi, my name is Kevin Randiek. I'm calling you from Randiek Communications, and I'll wish to provide you with solution X, Y, and Z. Now, really, the interesting thing, or rather the most challenging thing being me right now is the ability to recreate communications concepts that clients within the digital space will be willing to adopt, and in a way they'll be willing to embrace. But really, I will not. I'm not really looking at Randiek Communications as being the biggest thing, because I believe for a fact right now I'm already big. Not big in the sense that you're already generating millions and millions of revenue, but I'm big when it comes to creating communications concepts that both clients serving within the profit space and non-profit space will be willing to adopt. Now, how am I able to do that? Probably for learning sake and learning purposes. Really, I strive so much to ensure that I am learning, or rather understanding what happens within the education space, what happens within the financial space, what happens probably within the technological space, like right now, the launch of Palscity, rather what happens in the governance space, and probably even what happens, for example, I had Winnie Kabinche, whom I've had is so much passionate around issues gender. The reason why probably I'm trying to mention a bit of sectors from a point of branding and communications, it's really important right now in this modern age for someone within the communication space to understand different sectors, because when you're able to understand probably different sectors, that's now what keeps you going, and that's probably what keeps you living in the moment, despite probably the whole COVID happening, the pandemic happening. The ability to have an idea of how you can speak education is important. The ability to have an idea of how can you communicate a technological brand is important. And that's probably one of the key things I do at Randiek Communications, in that I just serve as a liaison of making clients look good, and also in the process being a knowledge resource. Probably in a nutshell, that's maybe what I do. And I hope probably as we keep on engaging on this call, I'll be able to give much more in terms of what I do, why it's important to be within the technological space, and probably what keeps me refurbished and what keeps me going on a day-to-day basis. So to the entire team at Palscity, it's a pleasure being here. So let's see how this gets to go. Maybe let me make a lighter note unto you. With the whole brand thing. You remember when we were forced to have a buffet at Jacaranda hotels? So was it a moment that we watered down our brands, or what? Anyway, that's on a lighter note to just make you happy after a long day. Brand identity and social media. Let me put it this way, actually. For me, I've tried working it the other way around. Yeah? I've tried working it the other way around. And working it the other way around for me is putting so much effort and energy behind the scenes before putting it up on social media platforms. And I will attempt to explain why. There's so much fanatism and so much craze around social media. There are persons who thrive on it, Yeah, definitely. And there are persons who don't thrive for it. I appreciate the fact that there could be big brands who have the million of followers, the brands who have the hundred thousands of followers, the brands who have, I mean, that clout, as we call it online. But then again, for me as Kevin's, and for me in terms of the work that I'm trying to do with the Branke Communications as a consulting communications company, is I've tried so much to build a unique identity that's me. A person who behind the scenes is truthful, a person who behind the scenes is factual, a person who behind the scenes, a client can do what a client can rely on when things are not happening. So after all the craze of work behind the scenes is when now I get into the social media platform. And that's probably what I was just trying to say, is that I have tried to rework things the other way around of, besides social media, I asked myself, so whom am I as Kevin's, and whom are we as Branke Communications? And the only way now I can tend to leverage up on social media is now by bringing the testimonials behind the scenes and placing them up on social media. And probably I will attempt to end it this way, so that probably have a conversation onto this. There's a time when I was really starting up, and you see the way we'll be told, hey, you need to have an Instagram account for the company. You need to have a Facebook account for the company. You need to have a Twitter account for the company. And I was like, okay, probably that's a way of doing it, to ensure that there's engagement and there's a whole ability of creating connection with people. But on my first days, I kind of felt like I'm failing. And don't ask myself, so why should I have all these social media handles, and yet there's no content that I am sharing that turns out to be like testimonials of what Branke Communications is doing? And this is what I did. I ended up, actually, it's Oracle Web Solutions who created those particular accounts. So I ended up closing all the accounts and working the other way around of working so hard behind the scenes to cultivate trust with clients, to ensure that I've delivered up on projects. Then slowly, that's now what I started putting up within my personal social media accounts. And I've turned out to be so much able to connect with people with Facebook and LinkedIn, in that I will do a post on a day within my personal accounts, and what will happen is I'll be able to get like 10 leads asking me about either a session I facilitated or either a past project I facilitated. And that's now the reason why I'm saying, despite all the craze that we are in right now within the social and technological era, it's really important for a person to develop a unique trait around him or herself, then later on put it up within the social media platforms. I hope I'm clear with that, Alphonse, and probably I'll take it back to you.